Good morning, everybody. It's Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we got widespread winter weather advisories to talk about, and we even have another storm system that will bring a bunch of threats for flash flooding, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first of all, we're gonna go ahead and start off on the winter storm alerts. And as you guys see, we got winter storm warnings in effect for Montana, Jackson, Wyoming, and then back through parts just shy of the Salt Lake City area, so pretty much in for the higher elevations around Salt Lake City. And then we got these winter weather advisories heading from eastern Montana back through North and South Dakota into Nebraska, heading through Iowa, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, back through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. And then they turn around and head back to Kentucky, let's see, a little bit of Virginia, and as well as western North Carolina. Looks like much of Tennessee included in some winter weather advisories. Portions of northern Mississippi and Arkansas also included in some winter weather advisories, and then even portions of southern Indiana included in some winter weather advisories as well. So definitely looking like a pretty widespread winter weather is going to happen today or even tomorrow. Some of these might be in effect for tomorrow, but we're definitely going to have a storm coming down and kind of affecting quite a bit of these areas, and we'll talk about that in a second as we do look at the GFS model. But next we're going to go ahead and look at your guys' excessive rainfall outlook, and as you guys can see, we actually do have a threat for flash flooding across the northwest United States. Definitely not looking very concerning. It was kind of like the one down here yesterday in places like let's see, West Oregon heading into West California. So it's definitely looking alright out there for sure, but I would still take this serious if you do live in western Washington or even northwest Oregon. Now on day 2, we actually do have another threat for flash flooding across California, and as you guys can see, we actually do have a threat for flash flooding across California, and it's pretty much just north of San Francisco, okay? Just north of San Francisco. And it's definitely looking like we don't see any more threats for flash flooding, but we definitely need to be watching this area very closely as we do head into tomorrow. Then on day 3, things start to ramp up, and as you see, we actually do have a pretty widespread marginal risk across the northern part of California, getting into southwest Oregon. So definitely looking like we're just gonna have to deal with small marginal risks. And I didn't pull out the excessive rainfall outlook that shows day 1 through 5. This only shows day 1 through 3, but on day 4 and 5 we did have a slight risk for flash flooding in this area, and we also had a slight risk for flash flooding in this area. So we're gonna have to talk about that as we do head into most likely tomorrow. I think I will pull out the excessive rainfall outlook, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But for your travel impacts, which is anywhere from now through January 21, and as you guys can see, we actually do have some pretty good travel impacts across the Ohio Valley, heading into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then back to parts of New York. Places like Buffalo and Watertown definitely seeing the major to extreme impacts right there, and then even a little bit of Indiana near Lake Michigan definitely seeing those moderate to extreme impacts across that area. So just more isolated than widespread for the major impacts. And then we also do see a major impacts in parts of Colorado, and then we got a bunch of isolated major and even extreme impacts across Washington. So definitely looking active there for sure. And then even back down here through parts of Mississippi, we actually are seeing a couple of minor impacts, and that's mainly due to the freezing rain, I think. But we'll see if something changes with this, because they've been showing like minor impacts in a few areas, and then they pretty much go away because those areas actually aren't seeing travel impacts. So we'll see if that's really the case. But if we do take a look at the radar now, as you guys can probably probably see, we actually are starting out kind of quiet because we actually just have a small snowstorm up here with just a couple of light snowstorms across these areas. And as we continue to take this far, we'll see a little round of snow in parts of Indiana, pretty much for the entire part of southern Indiana, heading into Ohio, pretty much for the lower Ohio Valley. Then we'll see this next system move through, which will bring a little bit more in the way of snowfall to the Ohio Valley. Even some freezing rain, it looks like, across western Tennessee, or I mean western North Carolina rather, but even a little bit of Georgia, even seeing some freezing rain too as well, but more extreme northern Georgia than a little bit farther towards Atlanta. So extreme northern Georgia, eastern Tennessee, and as well as western North Carolina really getting on some freezing rain a little bit, especially for the higher elevations. Then as that system finally heads out, we'll start to see another system. This one kind of has to be watched probably more, because look at this, guys. We start to see a storm developing right here, and then we start to see freezing rain on top of it, and then look at that, guys. Freezing rain just continues to impact places like Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and even Michigan, guys. Just look at that. Lots of freezing rain, lots of storms, lots of snowfall. So this is definitely one of the major storms we're gonna have to watch closely, and this will be as we head into January 23. So maybe a little bit certain that we do see a pretty big system that day, because we're only heading about 5 days out. So definitely looking like a system that we could be watching by now. But we will also start to see snowfall in parts of New England, and it sounds like that will last for quite a while, which could probably bring a few inches of snowfall to some areas. And then we'll start to see another system move through that will mainly just bring rain and storms to parts of the Ohio Valley and even mainly the deep south. This one might be able to bring a severe weather threat, but I'm pretty sure with the other one that was here before, let me go back to it, this one will probably have a better risk for severe weather, especially for how big those storms could really get. And I would probably say just a damaging wind threat is probably what's going to be the main concern, and even that damaging wind threat could head as far north as southern Indiana, but we'll see about that. I don't know if this is going to be the case, but we'll have to still watch. And same thing for this next storm system. We could see another threat for damaging winds with this one, because just look how big that system really gets. And look, even another round of rain and possible storms for parts of the south and maybe even the lower Ohio Valley. And so it's definitely looking like quite active, because we see round after round of rain and storms across a lot of these areas. So it's definitely looking active for sure, but I don't know if we're really going to be talking about a whole lot of severe weather. We'll have to see about that, but we'll see if we really see a big threat for severe weather. And whether we do or don't, we're definitely going to have to watch very closely. Now, if we look at your guys' excessive rainfall outlook, this is anywhere from now to January 24th, and as you guys can see, we actually do have a threat for flash flooding across places like west Washington and northwest Oregon. I kind of already said that, and as you guys can see, those areas actually do look to get around 3 inches of rainfall, which is definitely enough to cause flash flooding. It also depends on how the soil is, because if the soil is really saturated, then that can definitely mean flash flooding more likely. And then even back to parts of California, we're really seeing those rainfall totals ramp up quite a bit. It sounds like we might even see a threat for flash flooding across Los Angeles, California. That will definitely be one of the areas to watch very closely too as well. And then even back to parts of Texas. Look at that, guys. Texas is actually seeing more than California. Look at that, 7 inches of rainfall right there. 7.20 inches across Texas. I think this is near College Station, by the way, but College Station is definitely included in this yellow color, which is at least 3 to 4 inches, if not even 7 inches in some areas, but that's more of the gold shade color right there. And then even some precipitation heading back through Louisiana, even Mississippi, Alabama, and even the Panhandle of Florida. And then we got this big strip of beneficial rainfall heading from northern Arkansas back through the Great Lakes region. So definitely looking quite active for sure again. So definitely have to be watching some of these areas very closely. closely. Even New York really seeing those rainfall totals too as well. So we'll have to watch that very closely too as well. And now, if we take a look at your total snowfall, this is anywhere from now to January 24th, and as you guys can see, we actually are seeing quite some active snowfall across the Great Lakes region, and I mean, this is just looking pretty crazy across Michigan. At least 10 inches of snowfall will be possible across that. Even the panhandle of Michigan seeing some pretty good snowfall too as well. And then we got these at least 1 to 4 inches heading from the Cleveland area back down through West Virginia into eastern Kentucky, and then back through western Virginia and western North Carolina, and as well as eastern Tennessee. So eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, much of Ohio, West Virginia, western Virginia, and as well as western North Carolina, all seeing those pretty good snowfall totals right there. And even in the parts of Indiana, we actually are seeing some pretty good snowfall. I'm kind of surprised to see the southwest part miss out on some of the snowfall, but you guys could still get up to an inch of snowfall, guys. That's not out of the question for southwest Indiana, but that's, I wouldn't say that's out of the question for Illinois either. So we'll see how the system plays out, and meteorologists do get some of the weather wrong quite a bit. Not like they're trying to not tell the truth, but they're trying to give you the best weather information they can, and sometimes they get it wrong on accident. So we'll have to see if we do see more in the way of snowfall across these areas, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see more snow across the Ohio Valley, and we'll see about that. But now, for your freezing rainfall totals, as you guys can see, we actually are seeing quite a lot of freezing rain across the Pacific Northwest. It sounds like up to 6 inches of rainfall. So not 66, I meant to say 0.66. I found one of those areas, or 0.96. So definitely looking like an area that could see more than a half an inch, if why not even up to an inch in some areas. That will definitely be a concern to watch for. And even back to Arkansas, guys, look at that. This could cause some widespread power outages right there. Look, over a half an inch of freezing rain in portions of Arkansas, maybe even heading into Missouri, but like northern Arkansas could see a little bit more in the way of freezing rain. Look at that, just shy of Missouri, pretty much extreme northern portions of Arkansas could see as high as a half an inch of freezing rain right there, and even getting in a little bit of Texas, like very little of it, heading into a pretty good portion of Oklahoma, where we actually are seeing about a tenth of an inch or so of freezing rain right there. So we got a lot of areas that definitely could see some freezing rain, guys. This is definitely one of the main concerns for sure that we definitely have to keep an eye on. Not showing much for like the northern or even southern part of Indiana. It sounds like these areas are only going to see as much as a quarter of an inch or less, so not as much compared to this area right here, but definitely still enough to cause some power outages and stuff like that, which will be one of the main concerns too as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then we even got some other areas, at least a round of glaze of ice across places like Tennessee, heading into a little bit of western North Carolina. So definitely looking a little bit active across those areas too as well. Not like gonna cause power outages, but enough to cause some slick road conditions, and we could see as high as a tenth of an inch, but it sounds like most areas are just gonna see a glaze of ice, and that might be the main concern anyway. So we'll see about that. And this also heads till January 24th, just in case I forgot to say. And now, if we look at your guys' temperatures, as you guys can see, as of right now, or let me pull this back, this isn't right now, this is all the way at the end. Now, this is as of right now, and as of right now, our temperatures do seem to be pretty cold, by the way, and as you guys see, pretty cold temperatures across the northern United States. Look, -6 across portions of northwest Minnesota, and as we continue to take this forward, we'll start to see that cold air last for a pretty long time across these areas, and we just continue to see our temperatures be cold for the next couple of days or so, maybe even the next week. And then as we continue to take this forward, we'll start to see that warm front come through, and let's see, this warm front comes through as we head till January 24th. So I mean, definitely definitely looking quite active right there. And then as you see, we start to see those 60s, 50s. We can't rule out a 60 over here in Indiana, but it sounds like Kentucky will be the area to get those type of temperatures. And as we continue to take this forward, that warmer continues sticking around for quite a while. And as you see, look at Kentucky, just seeing all of those 60s. Look at that 66 in West Virginia. So I mean, definitely seeing more above average compared to, like, let's say Indiana, because look at that, guys. Eastern Kentucky does not usually see these warm up temperatures. They usually see a lot lower, especially in the higher elevations. But like, look at Indiana, they don't see as warm of temperatures compared to Kentucky. So I mean, it's crazy how the higher elevations are seen much above average compared to the rest of the U.S. or compared to the, let's say, the Ohio Valley, because Kentucky was definitely seen higher than Ohio and Indiana. It sounds like we're already at the end of it. So yeah, definitely looking like we will definitely see a warm up. Some areas will see warmer than others. Some areas will be more above average than others. So kind of just like a little bumpy ride right there on how the temperatures will play out. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. It is supposed to be a pretty snowy day today due to how much winter alerts we have, and let me go back and show you guys that. And I mean, definitely looking like a bumpy ride, because we will see snowfall, and then we'll see flash flooding, and then we'll start to see warmer than normal temperatures, which will cause even more rainfall and maybe flash flooding. So definitely looking like a pretty significant pattern change for sure. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will do one tomorrow.